thank you for viewing this recording of a free event provided by Next Village San Francisco for our community. Next Village San Francisco is a local nonprofit providing services and support that empower seniors to live independently in their own homes. We welcome people who want to keep connected with their community as members, volunteers, and supporters. We host 30 to 40 free activities and events each month for the public, and our members have access to our network of volunteers. Learn more and get involved at nextvillagesf.org. We hope you enjoy this video.
All right, Harrison, thank you for doing this for us today. Take it away.
Hello, good afternoon. So today we're going to talk a little bit about smartwatches. I would say we're going to talk more about the devices that are available and less about the specifics of each device. This applies to kind of the medical devices as well as things like the Apple Watch and the Samsung Android watches. But if you have any questions about these watches or any devices in particular, happy to set up some time with you one-on-one, and we can talk about the individual functionality and features of the watch. So like I said, we're going to look at this mainly from a lens of features that might be useful to you and show you what's out there. So I think we're looking for four main things, right? A device that serves its purpose, a device that's reliable, and a device that's easy to use. And coming across my research when I was getting ready for this presentation, I think a lot of things that people ask for when they look for a watch like this, especially older adults, is a device that's attractive and nice to wear. And I saw this interesting quote on a website, something that says, that doesn't say I'm frail, like a device around your neck or some kind of just standard life alert style device. We've come a long way with technology, so we can make it look much nicer. So what devices are available? So I think of the multifunctional devices like apps, that's like an Apple Watch, or things that have like a GPS or things that do messaging. Those are things like the Apple Watch, the Fitbit, the Versa 3, and the Samsung Galaxy. And then just looking at it from a strictly fall detection kind of alert device, you have the Bay Alarm Medical, you have a watch called the Kenga, and then the Be Well. And these are kind of the top rated watches that just kind of serve an alert medical purpose and don't have the functionality like, messaging or a GPS or a pedometer on there. So kind of two different categories there. And I kind of touched this at the beginning, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity to break down the stigma. There was a research that I came across when I was doing this. It said that 20% of owners of medical alert devices actually wear them regularly because they're so bulky, ugly, and stigmatizing. So many of the people who own them don't get the benefit from wearing one. So in the last couple of years, there's been a huge push to develop devices that are much more functional and serve a purpose beyond just the alert component.
Which one is the white one she's wearing? Oh, maybe.
I believe that was a newer edition of the Life Alert.
Oh.
So we'll look at a couple of options here, and I'll send out a summary after the presentation, kind of breaking down the ones that I looked at and which ones, and kind of rank them based off of price and things like that. So if you attended this presentation, I will send you an email later today. This is an interesting Apple Watch 7 commercial that came out not that long ago, and I think it is really valuable. So I included it in this presentation here. It's just about a minute long, so I'm going to play this.
The owner of this Apple Watch has taken a hard fall and is not responding to their watch. The emergency location is latitude 47.7, longitude minus 117.5 with an estimated search radius of 41 meters. This message will repeat in 5 seconds.
So super cool functionality on the later generations of the Apple Watch. Basically, you set up a medical queue inside of your iPhone. You say you can have it dial 911 first. You can have it dial a list of contacts first. You set the order. And then you also have this fall detection feature that gets turned on. And what it does is if it notices you take a large fall, it's going to send you some pulses, vibration on the watch, as well as some very loud audible alerts. And it's going to wait a sequence of about 30 seconds to see if you respond to the watch. So if you are knocked unconscious, obviously that 30 seconds is going to expire. And then from there, the watch is going to dial 911. And then it also captures the data around latitude, longitude. So a very precise sort of, this is where this person is, down to like a few meters. So super accurate, gets used a lot in, like you said, in this example, extreme sports, but there's no limitation to, the application that you can use it for. And lots of people use it for just basic fall detection or uses like that at home. A lot of these watches that I'm going to show, just from the medical standpoint, incur a monthly fee, which is kind of annoying. Basically, they do this because it requires a cell phone connection, or not a cell phone connection, but a connection to a cellular network. So you can use it outside of your home. It's basically anywhere that you can use a cell phone, you could use one of these. It connects to a wireless network. So you pay about 20 to 50 bucks a month for the connectivity, and it just depends on which watch. This one is a little bit on the cheaper side. I think it was $20 a month, and that's the cellular GPS sort of connection. So functions just like a watch, as you can see there. It's got a couple of different faces you can display, and then has an SOS button on the side. If you press and hold that, it's going to dial 911 and a list of contacts that you preset. One of the downsides of this is there's no fall detection. So if you were to take a hard fall and be knocked unconscious, the device isn't going to pick that up and report it. So it requires that user to actually press and hold that button. With the cellular connection, much better because you can use it pretty much anywhere. You don't have to be at home, or you're not tied to like a home-based system like you see with, I'm thinking of the original sort of Life Alert that plugs into a connection in your house and kind of relies on that. This is anywhere you are, outside, inside, wherever. A little bit more of a feature-rich watch is the Wellbe. This has some interesting things like a pedometer and a heart rate monitor. So it's going to monitor your steps. It's going to monitor your activity. So closer to like an iPhone or like an Apple Watch functionality. It also uses two-way communication. So you can place an emergency call and you can have a two-way communication with the other end. So it's not just like an alert, the location sent off to 911, but you can actually have a conversation and update status. Fairly easy to use, very big watch face. It looks very similar to an Apple Watch, but doesn't do any sort of text messaging or anything like that. Again, relies on the cell phone network connection. So you are incurring a monthly subscription fee. I want to say it's about 30 bucks a month. And there's plans where if you sign up for a year or 2 or 3 years, the monthly price comes down a little bit as well. So the Wellbe was pretty highly rated from my research. The last one serves an interesting purpose. It's called the Kaniga watch. It was actually developed by a woman whose mother needed medical assistance one time, and the devices that she needed weren't available to her. So she developed this watch, pretty feature rich, fall detection. And it's what's called a 24/7 wearable. So they really drive the idea home of you don't have to take this watch off to charge it. So they use examples like if you were sleeping or away from your watch, or even like in the shower, this watch can stay on 24/7, and you don't have to take it off for any reason. It's also voice activated, and it does have that fall detection, like I mentioned. It also does a medicine alert too, so you can set in your daily or whatever medication schedule you're on, and it'll send reminders to the screen as well. And then they also have a white glove setup. So a little bit more of an expensive watch, but they do all of the programming and setup for you. So they basically just hand you a watch that's fully functional out of the box based off of some of the requirements that you have. Not a ton of smart features beyond that. So nothing like messaging or GPS, no activity monitor. And the monthly or quarterly subscription was the most expensive that I saw. It's coming in right around $50 a month, which is pretty expensive for a watch like that. But it was highly rated. People enjoy it, and they really like the convenience of the 24/7 wearable and not having to take one off for extended period of time to charge. Moving into more of the fully functional sort of smart watches. I'm sure we're all familiar with the Apple Watch, super feature rich, offers lots and lots of interesting sensors and things. So you have the fall detection, like you mentioned, although be aware things that I'm going to talk about, like the fall detection and the EKG, these are only available in the newer generation of watches. So I think now they're on generation 7. So, but they still manufacture the older models. So if you're looking for these advanced features, you're going to have to go with the latest Series 6 or Series 7. And that's things like the automatic fall detection and alerting your medical contacts. That's things like a full EKG, which is really interesting. You can even sync that up with a health app that sends and reports data back to your doctor. That's like, again, a full EKG used to monitor all sorts of heart functionality, and was approved by the FDA. They also have the pedometer and other activity monitors. So you can tie it back to your phone, look at your steps, your heart rate zones, your recovery, sleep, things like that. And it also has the communication function. So you can iMessage, you can text message on your watch, and you can do any other messaging platform like WhatsApp or Zoom. You can do that all on your watch. The downsides, there's sort of two big ones. They are a bit pricey, especially the Series 7. Like if you want the latest and greatest EKG fall detection type stuff, that's coming in at right around probably $400 or $500. But there is no monthly fee unless you get the cellular connection. So if you don't get the cellular connection, it's relying on a paired iPhone, and that's iPhone only. So they don't work with Android or any other sort of smart device. It's strictly an iPhone. But you can also get just the cellular version, and that's where basically the phone acts as its own cell phone, connects to a network independent of the iPhone. And that comes in around $15 or $20 a month. But again, the full functionality, you need that iPhone to really unlock the full potential of all of the features. And you can get them used. So Apple has a great certified pre-owned sort of pipeline that you can buy used devices from, and they're usually about 20 or 30% cheaper, and still have all of the warranties and coverage that a new device has. This is one that I've used personally, the Fitbit 4 or the Versa. So lots of functionality in both the health and fitness. Fitbit has a wide range of products. You can get some that have a full-on screen that you can interact with, or things that are just more for like a sensor on your wrist to track things like step and heart rate. Kind of the middle of the pack is the Fitbit 4 or the Versa, I believe it's called. So tons of functionality, pairs with both an iPhone and an Android. So kind of works across platforms, has the functionality of, communication, things like messaging, and it's a much more approachable price point. So comes in at around like $160 all the way up to a couple $100, depending on the functionality. One of the big downsides from this perspective is that there's no automatic fault detection. So it's not something Fitbit has ever added to their product lineup. I'm not sure if they ever will, but there's no sort of SOS or fall detection. So I would look at this one mainly from a activity sort of monitor, heart rate, steps, things like that. And the last one, is the Samsung Galaxy. So we had the Apple Watch, which was super advanced, and we have the Fitbit, which was more for activity, and then Samsung or any of the other Android manufacturers. Samsung Galaxy Watch is great. They work best with Android phones, so that could be Samsung, that could be a Google phone, that could be anything sort of in the Android universe. And then very similar feature set. So lots of fitness features, the communication features like messaging, you can make calls on them. They just pair up with any Android phone that you have. And they can be a little bit pricey out of the box. This one was the newest generation one. I think it's coming in at just under $400. But again, no monthly subscription. It's just a one-time fee. And then it's paired up with your Android phone.
Thank you for viewing this Next Village video recording. We hope you enjoyed it. Please help us spread the word and tell friends and neighbors about Next Village events and services for seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco. Visit our website to learn more about our vibrant, growing network, as well as to view our calendar of upcoming Zoom and in-person events and activities in San Francisco. Our website is nextvillagesf.org. Contact us to join our email list to learn about events and resources for seniors in San Francisco. And subscribe to the Next Village YouTube channel by clicking the button below.